Hello, and welcome back to Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar, and I'm coming at you from the 256. I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick video about the AFC and NFC playoffs, the NFL playoff pictures, how they look, who's left, who's out, and just where those standings sit currently after Week 15. So let's go ahead and get to it. In the AFC, the American Football Conference, we do have two teams that are actually locked into the playoffs at this point. You have the Kansas City Chiefs at 11-3 and the Los Angeles Chargers at 11-3. But they play in the same division, which I will go over where the seeds actually sit in just a second. But they are the only two locked in the AFC currently after Week 15. Both sitting at 11-3. Chargers beat the Chiefs this past Thursday on an amazing game on a 2-point conversion. Controversial at the end of the game, but still, Chargers won the game. Next, you have the Houston Texans, almost guaranteed a spot as well. I have over a 99% chance of making the playoffs at 10-4. The New England Patriots, they have over a 99% chance of making the playoffs as well. Then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then currently the last team to be holding a wild card spot is the Baltimore Ravens. Teams that are still active and still have a chance to make the playoffs, actually still have a chance, are the Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans, Miami Dolphins, and Cleveland Browns. And those are the teams that are currently on the outside looking in. But as far as the AFC goes, the Denver Broncos, Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville Jaguars, New York Jets, and the Oakland Raiders have all been eliminated in the AFC playoff picture. Now I'll just go down to the NFC and go over those real fast. In the National Football Conference, you do have the New Orleans Saints. They had the big win on Monday night last night at 12-2. They're basically guaranteed the number one seed at this point unless they completely fall apart in their last two games. But they have clinched their division. The Rams have clinched their division, and the Bears have clinched their division. Those will probably end up being your top three seeds as well, with the Rams and the Saints being the two bye weeks. But the Bears still obviously have a chance if the Rams continue to slide. But yes, like I said, you have the Saints, Rams, and Bears all guaranteed a spot, already all guaranteed their division title. You have the Cowboys. They currently lead the NFC East, and they sit at 8-6. They just have to win one more game, and they have it locked up because they hold tiebreakers. The Seahawks are in, and then the Minnesota is in right now. But the only other three teams that have a chance to make it are the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington Redskins, and the Carolina Panthers. In the NFC, the Green Bay Packers have been eliminated. The Falcons have been eliminated. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been eliminated. The New York Giants have been eliminated. Detroit Lions are out. San Francisco 49ers are out. And the worst team in the NFC, the Arizona Cardinals, are obviously out as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll move over to the playoff charts over here to show the current seedings. It gives the reason why, but I'll skip that for now just to give you the current seedings and talk about how some of these teams things can change for them to make the playoffs. But right now, the number one seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. No surprise, they currently sit at the 1 because they have the best division win-loss. That's why they hold that. I know I said I wasn't going to read that, but that's why they have the 1 seed over the Chargers. They split the season series with the Chargers, but the Chargers have a loss to the Chiefs and a loss to the Broncos. That's why they're in the wild card slot. Obviously, those two can swap, but one of those two look like they will get the number 1 seed. And the 2 seed is currently the Houston Texans sitting at 10-4. Went on that miraculous 9-game win streak after losing their first 3 games of the season. They'll be a team you don't want to play, but they sit in the best spot for the 2 seed currently. Next, you have the New England Patriots off a loss to the Steelers. They are the 3 seed. The Pittsburgh Steelers are currently the 4 seed, leading their division, but with 2 games left and it being so close, they and the Ravens could swap. And then, like I said, the Chargers, based on their division win-loss percentage, they are the 5 seed at 11-3, and the Baltimore Ravens currently hold the last wild card. Now, like I said, the Colts, the Titans, the Dolphins, and the Browns all have a chance. The Browns, they need everybody to lose. They really needed everybody to lose this past weekend, but they still have a chance. But everybody has to lose everything, but they're basically out. That you can basically say the Browns are out. But what a season they've turned in after last season. The Dolphins, that big loss to the Vikings, that basically puts them on the outside looking in. You're really looking at three teams playing for that last spot in the AFC. You've got the Ravens, the Colts, and the Titans. The Ravens have to play the Chargers, so that will help the Colts and the Titans if the Chargers are able to win. Because if you go by ESPN's FPI, their Football Power Index rankings, they actually give the Colts and the Titans a better chance of making the playoffs than the Ravens right now, because the Ravens have to travel to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers this Saturday. The Titans and Colts, they both have the Titans have the Redskins, which are just falling apart after Alex Smith went down, and the Colts they play somebody that's 5-9. Excuse me, I forget who they play this weekend, but they play somebody 5-9. So the Titans and Colts both expected to win this weekend. I expect them to both win this weekend. That game between those two will almost be a play-in game to the playoffs, because depending on what happens with the Ravens and Chargers, the Titans and Colts could surpass them by having better records. But those are really the three teams in play there. The Steelers, they could still lose they could lose their last two games. They could miss the playoffs. A lot of things can happen. The Ravens can still win their division. Pittsburgh fall out. A lot of scenarios can happen, but you're really looking at the Titans, Colts, and Ravens for that last spot. Those are the three teams fighting for it. And like I said, Colts and Titans next week, week 17. This week's week 16. Next week, week 17. Could be a play-in game for the playoffs, and they're both playing good football as of now. And then, like I said, on the NFC side, there's only three teams currently on the outside looking in that could make it in. But like I said, the chances of those teams actually doing that are very slim at this point. But you currently have the Saints as the 1 seed, clinch their division, hold the tiebreaker over the Rams. If they did have the same record, they'd hold the tiebreaker. But the Rams, they lost again this week. They have 3 losses. And then the Bears sitting at 10-4. If they end up with a tied record with the Rams, they would hold the tiebreaker over the Rams because of their head-to-head matchup. But right now it goes Saints, Rams, Bears. Cowboys, they're looking good to win their division. So I would expect them to have the 4 seed. They would currently have the 4 seed. Seattle, surprise team for me this year. Really thought their record would look more the opposite, be it 6-8 or even worse. But they're at 8-6. They fought hard. It's like they always seem to do when it counts. Strung together a much better season than many expected. Seattle is currently the 5 seed, and then the Minnesota Vikings sit in the 6 seed. The Eagles come in at 7, and they have the tiebreaker based on win percentage over the Redskins. Redskins are also 7-7, and the Panthers at 6-8 are at the 9 or in the ninth place spot, not a 9th seed, but you know what I mean. They're in the 9th spot in the NFC. Carolina 6-2. A lot of people had them as a Super Bowl contender. Lost 6 in a row. They're virtually out at this point, unless craziness, which can always happen. But the Panthers are pretty much out at this point. The Redskins, no quarterback play. Like I said, I expect them to lose to Tennessee this weekend. So, and then you have the Eagles. They had their chance to make a push, and they lost to the Cowboys in overtime. Not this week, but the week before. In Minnesota, they picked up a huge win against the Dolphins to put themselves keep themselves in the playoff hunt, and now they are sitting in the 6th spot there. But those are that's really what we're looking at. I don't expect any of those teams to jump in, just based on what's left. The Vikings, they picked up a big win last week. It's hard to judge, but that's what we're looking at as far as teams that are left in it. Carolina still has a mathematical chance. Redskins, obviously, they still have a chance sitting at 500. The Eagles have a chance sitting at 500. Minnesota sitting at 7-6-1. Gets the advantage because they have one less loss. They have a tie, which means basically it didn't happen. They get the tiebreaker over them because they have less losses. And then obviously head-to-head matchups could come into play. But that's just what we're looking at for seeding purposes at this point. But that's all. I guess that's all I wanted to say about it. Through week 15, that's what the playoff races look like. A lot could still happen. Like I said, with the AFC, there's really 3 teams fighting for that spot, and 2 teams on the outside technically have a higher chance of making it based on who the Ravens have left to play. And it really looks like the Vikings, they're in the best seat. Obviously, they're already in. But the Eagles struggles. They don't have their franchise quarterback, but we saw what Foles did for them last year. Redskins have really fallen after losing Alex Smith, and the Panthers with a historic fall apart, you could say, of sorts, after sitting at 6-2, and now they're at 6-8. But that's where I'll leave this video. I'll have my picks for Week 16 tomorrow, Wednesday, for the Week 16 slate of games. But this has been Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.